Hello everyone, let's talk about teacups, and we're going to talk about my teacups versus this teacup. So let's start with this teacup. This teacup is commonly found online all over the internet, and it's a cheap junky one. I think it's some sort of ceramic. It doesn't actually tell me what it's made of. That is available everywhere online, and you can get these really cheap because they are mass produced in a factory. So let me point out some of the problems with this type of teacup. First thing is, it is huge. Now when I say huge, I'll get my measure tape. It's around 4.5 inches, or what's that in centimetres? 11.5 centimetres across in the measurement, which is as big as a small dog bowl, cat bowl. So it's huge, plus it's very heavy. It also has a plagiarised verse on it, so where it says mysterious things I see when telling fortunes in your tea. It's actually a cut down version of a very famous verse actually. The other problem with it, and I'd like you to actually have a look and see what's actually wrong with this when we look inside. So I'll pause for a second and let's have a look. Can you work out what is wrong with this teacup? Can't guess? I'll tell you. These images are all upside down, because when you read a teacup, we tend to look at it like so, and we look at the images on the opposite side. To read these images right way up, we're actually having to turn the cup upside down. So when you read teacups, if you are the viewer, you're looking in, you would be looking at these, and they are upside down. So another issue with this teacup is the amount of sections in it. It's really strange. I've got a lot of fortune teller teacups going back to the late 1800s, and you would never see a teacup section in this many sections. At most, you may find a teacup that's divided into 12 sections, as in 12 months. This one here has, I think it's 14 sections, which is a very peculiar amount of sections to be divided in. So it only has the 14 sections, but then it only has 14 symbols. It is very heavy, and that's even without the liquid in it. So I'd hate to think how much it would weigh, because it is very heavy to hold, even just for these couple of minutes. The other thing it has, there's the saucer, the plate saucer. That is as big as a small entree plate, salad plate. And the measurement of that is 7 inches or 18 centimetres across. So it is huge. Again, it weighs a ton. So the only little bits of gold on it, you've got some little gold moons here. And you've got tiny weeny bit of gold just in the bottom on the planets. So, and even then it's quite strange, because they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, a 7-pointed star. It's very peculiar, very peculiar. So, versus beautiful, produced singularly, covered in real 24 karat gold, and these, the symbols are up the right way, and you have 32 symbols in these. The measurements, and this is a traditional, what we call a traditional English breakfast teacup. The measurements of that is not quite 4 inches or 10 centimetres at the widest point where it is. It is made of new bone china. Now, new bone china, everyone thinks of bone china, and that old-fashioned bone china did contain animal bone ash, so they're not very kind and friendly to our furry friends. So these new bone china are made of different compositions, and it's all sorts of glass and so on, but there is no animal bone ash in any of my products, and so these are 100% vegan friendly. The saucer on this one, I just love this, because this reminds me of a big flower petals, and when the cup is sitting on it, it's like a flower is blooming, and I love this mint green. It's just beautiful. So I'm getting sidetracked. So the measurements of this saucer is 6 inches or 15 centimetres across at its widest point. So when you're looking at these two together, now be prepared for the shock. We have a dog bowl and we have a regular teacup. My regular teacup actually fits inside this huge big dog bowl. It is massive. Even I'll try and hold them side by side at the top so you can see. Actually, I'll try and level up the bottom so you can see the height difference. The size difference is massive. As I said, mine would fit inside it. This weighs an absolute ton and my arm's getting tired. Saucers, again, oops, sorry for the noise. That's the difference in saucers from centre point to centre point. The other issue with buying these cheap, junky, mass-produced ones is this is all you get as your so-called booklet. It's not a booklet, it's actually only a leaflet. So, that's it. And there you've got is your 14 symbols. And they very random. I have to wonder, have they just grabbed something and went, I don't know, translation error or something, because they're quite strange in their meanings. Like, for example, they've got here, where is it? I saw an apple, a desire to better oneself. In traditional tea leaf reading, an apple or any fruit or vegetable, so even if that was a plain old carrot or a potato, it usually means great abundance. So the other issue is there's no positives or negatives, so you are really flying blind, and that's all you get with that. So, and that's fine if you only want to spend 20 bucks, you know, go for it if that's all you can. So, mine come with a full booklet, and in the booklets we have the positives and negatives of every single symbol in here. Mine also come with the little tea samples. This one's a beautiful green tea. This one is a black tea. And they're little mini, they're like test tubes actually, and they're great because you've got a little pop lid, so easy. In each one of these is about 10 teacups for 10 tea leaf readings in each tube. Most people think, oh, there's a tube of tea, and they dump the whole lid in the teacup. You don't need that much tea leaves. You actually only need a pinch of tea. And when I say a pinch of tea, I would say probably only the tip of your teaspoon. That's another thing, is you get these beautiful little spoons. Just look at that. I don't know if you can see, it's got crystal on it. It's just gorgeous. When you're doing your tea, you would be lucky if you only had 1/4 of the tip of these little teaspoons in here, and that's all you need, because real tea, loose leaf tea, it actually triples in size. So real tea leaves swell, and they do swell quite a bit for a traditional tea leaf reading. You can use tea bags in tea leaf reading in a pinch, but as my dear old late mum used to say, oh, tea bags are just the dust off the floor. And we always used to have a bit of a laugh about it. So that's what she used to call them. So have a look at my store. You will see high-end, made by me. These are actually created here in Melbourne by me, that are 100% vegan friendly, lots of gold, 32 symbols, and before I forget, you actually scan a QR code in your booklet and you get access to a full course that I've created, nobody else has done, and you get to sit and watch the course via video in your pajamas at night time, and you can watch it over and over and over. And it's where I go through all things to do with tea leaf reading. So we talk about the types of teas, we talk about how much tea, whether you want to use a teapot or direct to cup, and so on. There's lots to learn in these, and the wonderful thing is you are getting a very beautiful, unique piece, because all of these are done by me. I don't have a massive factory. I do have commercial grade equipment. All this imagery is 100% food safe. It is permanent. You cannot wash these off. You cannot scratch these off, even if you've got a pair of scissors. They don't move, and they're not meant to. These cups are very robust, and I have designed them in the way that you pick them up and you use them every single day. So thanks for stopping by, and go and enjoy your tea.